We lost our dog Missy, December 15th, to copper storage disease. And that was the beginning of my quest for, if we were going to get another puppy, I had to have something that would not kill that puppy, that would be safe for that puppy. And I've researched, and found Voyager dog food. I am Sandy Schaefer.
And I'm Don Schaefer.
And this is our puppy, Annie Oakley. North Fork's Annie Oakley. She's a little bit full of it today. Missy's mission is our effort to get the story of our dog known. Missy's story was sometime late September, early October. She just became lethargic, wouldn't you say? She wasn't
Very
as excited.
lifeless and just not energetic.
Yeah, and you know,
Eat.
yeah, and at that point we're thinking, okay, she's 8 years old. She's going to slow down. We got to accept that. But then she went off her food. She didn't want to eat. We bought pumpkin to put in her food. We tried to entice her with treats. I mean, she wouldn't eat out of her dog bowl, but she'd come over to him and he would hand her little pieces and she'd eat the little pieces, but she wasn't eating right. And we took her to the vet and she ran blood tests and we discovered the ALT was a little bit high, not horribly high at that point, but higher than it should have been. High normal is 330 and she was 4 something. So it was a little high. We took her back a couple of weeks later. It came down a little bit, but then it got worse and it went up a lot higher. Our vet had no idea what was going on except for everything else in her blood work was perfect. And she had no idea except it had to do with the liver because the ALT number was up. She finally told us she thought after the 3rd vet trip, she said, I think you need to get her to MedVet in Columbus. So we took her up there. They did blood work and they did a ultrasound with biopsy on the liver. At that point, her ALT had elevated to 4,600. And I mean, that quickly. I mean, literally, we were at our vet one day and took her to Columbus the next, took her to the emergency room at MedVet. So it had just exploded. And of course, like I said, they did the testing on Wednesday and Thursday. A week later, on Friday morning, about 2:30 in the morning, she died. And they called me on Monday, had finally gotten the results back. And Roger and I talked for quite a bit, and he explained to me how people don't know, vets don't know about this. And the only way that we could protect a future dog was to be very careful that copper amounts in the food that we bought were as low as possible, and to have the ALT checked every 6 months. And that just wasn't an answer to me. I mean, my big concern was not only finding a dog food that didn't have the added copper, but what about the treats? What about the vitamins? Anything that you give them that doesn't have the naturally occurring copper or the high levels of the synthetic copper and all that. But that was December 15th. Missy started going downhill in October, early October. And by December 15th, she was gone. I put a story on Facebook about what happened to her. And my sister in Colorado read it and said, you need to call this Missy's mission. So that's what we're doing. We've had t-shirts made up that should be ready in a couple of weeks. It's been a learning process for me to know what all to put in the information that we're supplying. And the biggest thing is awareness. People need to be aware of what's happening, why it's happening, and again, because their vets don't know to educate them about this, they've got to educate themselves. So we've got websites listed on the information that we're providing. The Voyager is one. We've since found out Cornell University is working to help us fight this battle. And Roger at MedVet also told us that all the vets, all the techs, all the nutritionists are helping to fight the battle, just to get it changed, get the requirements changed so the dog food is safe. And as I explored finding a natural dog food, of course, Voyager is the only one I could find that didn't have the synthetic coppers. And I have researched, I have gone to pet food stores, I've gone online. The only thing I can find without the synthetic copper is Voyager dog food. I was afraid to get our next puppy, literally. And simply through, I believe through prayer, I was led to you at Equine Affair. And it took that fear away from me that, oh my gosh, I found something. I'm not going to kill another dog, another puppy, giving it the wrong dog food, because what we went through with Missy was heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. She was only 7.5. She should have lived twice that many years. And when we lost her, it was devastating. So, and I don't want other people, if we can save one dog by wearing the t-shirts, putting it on social media, talking to people. On our trip up here, we talked to numerous people at the rest stops and explained to them, and they were all very receptive to hearing what we had to say. So it's easy just to hand a flyer or a piece of paper or a business card or whatever and saying, please, you have a lab or you have a golden or you have whatever you have. Check into this and make sure that you're giving your dog the best food that it can get.